Welcome, Becky and Warren. My name is Natalie. I would like to take the pleasure in introducing you to the other members of our consultancy team. With me here today, I have Laith, Candace and Kimberly. We've prepared this presentation for you today and have also supplied a supplementary formal report to assist you. During an interview with you, Becky, it was identified that Health Insurance Co has been facing a decline in market share despite growth in your target area. We are here today to share our insights and offer our recommendations in relation to how we feel you can best achieve this goal. Firstly, please let me explain to you how we are going to proceed with the presentation today. We will begin by discussing the background, a little bit about your company and your position. I will then move on to describe how we analyse the issue. Thirdly, we will next identify the issues we recognise and explain how we categorise them into different clusters. At that point, we will talk to you about how we identified where your company is and where it needs to be, and highlight the gap statements for each of the areas we feel are most significant to focus on. We will finally conclude our presentation, most importantly, by introducing our recommendation on how you can best increase your market share. As we know, your company is extremely successful. Any company able to achieve a Golden Jubilee knows that this is no small feat. To be a part of such a company, Becky, you must be extremely proud. Any employee would be. Health Insurance Co.'s strength in the market is significant, and to be in the top 5 amongst 45 health insurance providers in the market proves the company's market strength and consumer confidence. Being a publicly listed company with significant net profit also proves the financial viability and market strength. Finally, your company clearly appreciates the employees who form the core of Health Insurance Co. by providing them with enterprise bargaining agreements and performance-based contracts for senior executives. While there is a variety of positives for your organisation, there are also some issues affecting your division. I would like to explain how we have conducted our analysis. Becky, you provided us with an extremely thorough brief. This provided us with some substantial information and pointed us in the right direction. We also engaged in an interview with you in order to investigate the problem further and clarify some details. Once we gained as much information as we could from you, we then investigated further into the health insurance industry as a whole and the market you were targeting. This helped us to identify a number of issues, which we then collated into different clusters. Once we determined what our vision of your future state would look like, the last step was to identify how we bridge that gap between the current state and the future state, and we devised a gap statement. This helped us to identify what needs to happen to get from A to B and detail the steps on how to get there. Now I will pass you along to Laith, who will discuss our findings in further detail.
Hi, Becky and Warren again. After we investigated the issues, we came up with a list of 19 significant issues affecting your market share. The market experienced a growth of 6.2%. However, the share HIC had decreased by over 16%. Some key issues attributing to these: missed opportunities. You identified to us that you have not engaged past clients, that there was no research into the demographic of who your clients were or could be, and that you don't have any strategic alliances to attract more clients. Lost opportunities. It is clear from the downturn in market share that you had somewhere experienced a loss of clientele to competitors, potentially due to a lack of global presence as you were not meeting the consumer need. Internal constraints. You mentioned there is a lack of investment. Without investment, there will be no financials to support any initiatives. Point of difference. Upon the research, HIC is lacking a point of difference. Why would a customer choose to go with your company over another? What presence do you have? As mentioned, we group issues into clusters. These clusters are reviewed holistically. We identified 6 clusters. The first being investment. Investment is a key for any organization to succeed. Without investment from within a company, there is no possibility for a growth and appeal to customer group. Second is marketing. Any company who generates revenue for product sale relies heavily on a thorough strategic marketing plan. Third, global economy. We all know the events such as the global financial crisis has a significant impact all over the world. Whilst there's an issue, there's a little that can be managed through this for any company. Fourth is service. Often complex processes and systems can result in a consumer one supplier over another. Fifth, profitability. Any services which waste net profit are an issue. The government's global economy, little can be done to avoid issues from government policies. The abolishment of the 457 visa would have an impact as the number of workers entering the country would have reduced consumers. There are 2 significant clusters here, which should be right strategies be put in place can achieve the desired outcome of a greater market share. Those 2 are marketing and investment. So let's start with marketing cluster. So the current state for marketing cluster, marketing strategies are lacking clear direction, creating missed and lost opportunities for the organization to take advantage of prospects to attract and retain clients. Gaps have been identified in relation to capturing both existing and future clientele. With limited market research taking place, it is difficult to be able to clearly identify the demographic you are wanting to target. In turn, this limiting your opportunities to capture the market share you are aiming for. One huge opportunity that has been observed as lacking in health insurance companies' marketing repertoire is the growing dominance of social media. This would help health insurance companies to capture a wider demographic, which would benefit the company in growing traction in the skilled worker and visitor markets in particular. Keeping up to date with technological advances is vital in keeping health insurance companies' name in the front of potential clients' minds. Now moving to the future state, strong marketing strategies will provide health insurance companies with industry dominance through competitiveness, relevance, and increased customer base. Through undertaking thorough marketing research, health insurance companies will be able to identify exactly the markets they want to target. Our research has shown China as having the biggest potential for gaining market share. With 1.3 million visitors in 2017, they were our second biggest market for visitors. Yet, this figure only represents 1% of their total population. This shows that there are a lot of potential clients just waiting to hear from health insurance companies. Now the gap statement for marketing. Consider underperformance in the current marketing processes and campaigns to manage promotion and ongoing improvement in attracting and retaining clientele. There are 2 options available to bridge the gap. Number 1 is wider social media campaign. In order to grow, strategies to attract new customers who are not loyal to any brand would be beneficial. As such, it is recommended to focus on splitting health insurance companies' marketing strategies into both global and local plans. As the largest proportion of revenue relies heavily on students and visitors, efforts in increasing promotion of products globally are suggested. Increasingly, prospective visitors will use the internet to search for information regarding their tourism decision-making, thus reducing the risks and uncertainties. The other option is point of difference. Integrating loyalty programs with social media can have a significant impact in gaining new customers. For example, using one of the social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram, or in China platforms such as WeChat or Weibo, to send ads and updates for existing customers, offering gift cards or discounts for those who are willing to share those ads with their friends on social media. New customers would need to mention how they heard about the company when signing up, so all customers receive their rewards and so on. So that's it for marketing, and now we'll leave you with Candace to discuss our second cluster, investments.
Thanks, Liz. The current state for the investment cluster is insufficient investment strategies, including deficient budgets and poor engagement, both domestically and globally, results in failure to achieve strategic alliances, brand equity, and wealth. The current state we have identified is that your company is lacking a global presence and engagement with consumers, that there is no strategic alliances in place to target these consumers, and there is little to no research into understanding the demographic of who your consumers actually are. Also, the lack of investment internally would be affecting your budget and would be affecting your overall ability to expand your division in this market, all of which affects your bottom line. We have determined the future state as Health Insurance Co. will be a market leader by investing in products that are simple, competitive, affordable, and accessible to prospective clients and partners both globally and locally. Customers want to know that the products they are purchasing are simple. What they get is what they pay for, with no hidden surprises. It is important that products that are provided are competitive within the market, both in terms of price and features. Your products need to be user-friendly. Your customers need to be able to access their benefits without having to jump through hoops during their time of need. We've determined the gap statement is analyse deficiencies and underperformance in current investment strategies and address processes to manage investment spending and ensure competitive company growth. There are two options available to bridge the gap. 1. Build international alliances. Most visitors will choose to obtain health or travel insurance from their home country prior to travel, as a method of ensuring their travel arrangements are in place, therefore suggesting this is a significant gap in reaching the target market. 2. Re-engagement of previous clients. Re-engagement is a key gap identified in the analysis. As of March 2018, repeat visitors made up the majority of visitors arriving in Australia. They spent an additional $8 billion, proving their repeat clientele is a relevant solution in gaining back market share. We determined the cluster to increase market share is investment, and we've chosen the option Build Alliances. These can help gain an advantage over the competitors with shared knowledge, brands, markets, and resources. Additionally, creating such alliances allows for consideration of the marketing cluster. Shared resources, markets, and clients builds upon a company's ability to encourage clients previously out of reach. It is possible to build alliances globally and locally through two measures, one being joint venture and two being strategic alliances. We recommend the following. Identify and target key demographic where most growth can be achieved. Redesign and develop suitable product offerings. Alliances require both parties to achieve a mutually beneficial outcome. Reciprocal benefits are paramount to a successful partnership. Investigate which partnerships should be a joint venture or strategic alliance, and determine the decision-making ability for joint ventures. You'll need to determine the costs and then put a plan in place for at least the next 12 months. Need to create a business plan and gain board and shareholder acceptance, and prepare for a review. Measure the success and adapt if necessary, and make sure to benchmark against competitors with similar alliances. Now I will hand over to Kimberly.
Thank you, Candice. So our recommendations, in 2017 there was around 8.8 million people visiting Australia from overseas, a 6.6% increase on the previous year. The top 5 countries visiting Australia are from China, New Zealand, the United States, the United Kingdom, Japan and Singapore. Each country's visits are up on the previous year's visits, with China experiencing the highest growth with an increase of 12% from 2016. Projections for the future. Tourism Australia estimates that in 2026 and 2027 there'll be 50% increase in money spent in Australia on tourism, which is roughly 151.4 billion, 15 million international visitors and 14.8 million outbound trips from Australian residents. By 2020, Tourism Australia expects to see over 115 billion in overseas spend. It is anticipated that Chinese tourism will grow to 25.7% share of the market, while tourism from New Zealand, the US, UK and Singapore will all experience below average growth, average visitor growth. There are a variety of alliances that can be achieved globally. The focus should be on collaborative approach by considering what is in it for both parties, focusing on small companies such as Capital One, who do not have a travel insurance agreement but could be worth investigating, as they are proposed as one of the banks to travel with. China was mentioned as being one of the greatest tourists. Partnering with banks such as People's Bank of China could increase the sales. Attempting to strategically align with an online travel agent such as Agoda will allow an internet presence far-reaching globally. There are a number of companies who have alliances in place, for example, Bankwest, What If, Webjet and Expedia with Allianz. There are often opportunities with alliances come to market again, so it would be in the best interest in research to identify the proposed upcoming strategic alliance agreements up for renewal in the coming months. Implementation proposal. We recommend over the next 12 months, priority 1 stage, one of the largest timeframes should be allocated to focus on research to understand the demographic, understand foreign markets, understand potential local alliances, and determine what these alliances will want from HIC and what HIC can deliver. Stage 2 would be to plan. Internal investment and buy-in will be primitive for such alliance initiatives to go ahead. This will require focus on cost analysis, plan development, and all outlined through a business plan to be provided to the board, shareholders, partners, and partnering companies. Stage 3 will be equally as important. At this point, there would need to be an agreement of proposals where decisions are agreed to as far as decision-making abilities and other legal requirements. Stage 4 is the period in which implementation of the plan can occur, where partners will roll out products, packages, and marketing on behalf of HIC. Stage 5, as with any new initiative, it will be important to reflect and assess their effectiveness, and if necessary, adjust products, packages, and other agreements. This will be the opportunity to benchmark against others in the industry to ensure that the company has been successful. The purpose of the business analysis was to consider options that could be used by Health Insurance Co. to build on an existing client base and increase its share of the target market. A part of this analysis also included how Health Insurance Co. can make its marketing more visible to and noticeable to ever-changing market of overseas visitors, students and skilled workers. By expanding in the international market, Health Insurance Co. is able to utilise both joint ventures with established companies and develop strategic alliances with well-known international organisations in order to develop traction and build a reputation in the international community as the quality health provider they are. The study also considered a range of issues that would need to be considered in order to ensure the success of the company. The following recommendations were made. Build on alliances in order to capture potential clients at the first available opportunity. Re-engagement of previous clients, taking advantage of this growing target audience. extend on the international campaign, taking advantage of technological advances in social media and other online advertising forums, identify a market point of difference to show how Health Insurance Co stands out from the competition. So this is the end of our presentation, and we'd like to thank you, Becky and Warren, for your time, and hope you find this presentation helpful. Please let us know if we can help you further with this, and we thank you for your time. And from everyone at Consultancy Group 1, we wish you well.